right. The chair of one of the committees investigating the IRS isn't happy with the response that's been coming from the White House. Here's Darrell Issa taking a shot at Jay Carney yesterday.
Their paid liar, their spokesperson, picture behind, making up things about what happens and calling this local rogue.
So, what does Mr. Carney have to say about that? Well, he was asked about it at today's briefing.
I hadn't heard that. That's amazing. I'm not going to get into a back and forth with Chairman Issa.
Well, the White House doesn't want to get their hands dirty, so their surrogates are out there doing it for them. Former senior advisor David Plouffe tweeted, quote, strong words from Mr. Grand Theft Auto and suspected arsonist slash insurance swindler and loose ethically today. That's a mouthful of tweet for you, right? I don't know. Right?
Yes.
Whoa, did you leave anything else out? I mean, poor Darrell Issa after that.
No, here's what he did, David Plouffe. Really, honestly, maybe Darrell Issa shouldn't have said paid liar. Look,
it should be overpaid.
Overpaid liar, very good, very good. But here's the thing, David Plouffe, there's no reason for him to tweet that. He knows very well that Darrell Issa there were no charges ever applied to Darrell Issa on all those things that came up 20, 30 years ago. All those charges were dropped. For him to do that is amazing. There was a tweet that came after that, and I can't remember who it was, but they put up a picture, and just visualize this. You know the picture of President Obama when he's in college, the Choom Gang, smoking some weed? It was a picture of that and said, while Darrell Issa was the charges were being dropped on Darrell Issa for those things, here's what President Obama was doing. Now, there's no disputing that part because President Obama admitted to doing that. Look, this is a peeing match, we call it that, going back and forth. Eventually, let's just get to the truth. Let's just find out what happened.
So you don't have a problem with what Issa said?
Absolutely. Well,
you have a problem with Plouffe
he used a hatchet. He could have used a scalpel.
It was a disgraceful comment on his part. He started, and I think the response was bad as well. If we could just get this thing, for the chairman of a committee that's undertaking presumably a serious investigation, to call people paid liars, it diminishes his own role in this thing. And for Plouffe to come back and call him those things, I think was a mistake, too. Now, I do think Darrell Issa finally apologized, but this thing is getting down to such rough politics already before we have some evidence out there. Does he have evidence that Carney was a paid liar?
Well, they have the transcripts that have one thing being said and then another thing being said, and that's part of the look into things.
There are two things about this thing. Right. You're not supposed to call somebody a liar. You're supposed to say they misled. We've learned that. You can't actually use the word that you mean. But I would rather be called a liar or a hypocrite than a racist. And that's all the left does. And I'm sorry, Bob, but that's how the Tea Party was characterized for the last 2 years, as being racist. Call me a liar all you want. Don't call me a racist. There's no comparison.
But I think what's going on here, Dana, is the White House and the left, the Democrats trying to make Issa now the villain, the poster boy for this investigation and try and dirty him up to take the shift away, the focus.
And I think the best response out of all of this was Jay Carney's, who says, I'm not going to dignify that. I'm not going to engage with Darrell Issa. My job here is to answer your questions. And as a press secretary, you never want to become the story. That should not be your goal. And if you become the story, then you have a problem. Now, they have a problem. But I also think that from the chairman's standpoint, he's got an excellent case. They could go about it methodically and on the merits, and they can probably either score political points if they want, but they could get to the truth easier if they don't make themselves part of the story.
But Eric, I mean, what they're doing, this is one of their plays, right, where they try and smear the person that's spearheading the investigation to take the focus away.
I know, and they keep using the same thing over and over again, that those charges that were brought up and dropped 20, 30 years ago. The question is, Dana, if the White House says this is what we're going with, these are the talking points we're going with, and you as a press secretary know or believe those not to be true, do you deliver them? What do you do?
Heck no. No way. Absolutely not.
I've got to respond.
Mostly because not just for yourself, or because of this, when you're the spokesperson, you're really unimportant. You are the vessel. You are communicating what the President of the United States thinks or thinks. But I would wait. I would stand outside the office and say, I'm not doing this until we have more of an answer.
Bob,
I can't let this go by what Greg said, because it is true that there are certain individuals on the left that do raise the race card, but they generally are very few, and they're very far left. I can tell you that I know very few people on the left who raise the race card in defense of Obama or anybody else. And so I think that to indict the whole left on this is not a fair statement. There are some. I agree.
But what about Julian Bond?
Well, that's, I would say
but
that,
he represents.
no, he doesn't represent the
Well,
left.
no, but the NAACP's former chairman. I mean, he is a leader of the group.
We just had a state senator. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you look at the overwhelming percentage of people who say this are blacks. Raise the racist card.
We just did a whole segment on someone on Friday saying the reason why people disagree with Obamacare is because the president's black.
Right. Can we listen to some, you mentioned about this yesterday with Plouffe and Axelrod. Take a listen to this piece of sound. We're going to get a little reaction around the table.
This was not an effort driven by the White House. It would be the dumbest political effort of all time.
If there was somebody political involved in this, it never would have happened because it was the stupidest thing you could imagine.
Okay, you had a quick comment, Craig?
Well, okay, the defense of the IRS, no politician would ever do something so stupid. Politicians are predicated on doing stupid things. If politicians didn't do stupid things, there would be no need for politics to cover it up. We would not have politics. All you would have is governing. Politics is invented to disguise the corruption of people in government.
Is this your next book? I have a feeling. Okay, Bolling.
No politician would ever tell a group of available people to help out four ambassadors in trouble. No politician would ever do that. No politician would ever deny a search warrant and then sign it only a couple of days prior to that.
Okay, friends in green and blue, anything else to add?
Go ahead, Jane.
I will pass.
Oh, it's like password.
I will not pass because I think what they both said, and these are two skilled politicians, it is hard for me to imagine that to make this order, to do this to Tea Party groups, is so politically dumb that it just it rises. I mean, I can't believe that Plouffe or Axelrod would do this. Now,
you don't like it on
there may be somebody else in the White House, but it's just
and that's
so dangerous.
Can I take back the remaining balance of my time?
I'll give you
I
5
agree,
seconds.
and that's why I said that they're writing checks that they can't necessarily cash because they don't know what's in the account. They don't know who possibly could have paid into the account or might have been taking withdrawals. And so when they say nobody was involved, no, maybe nobody in the 4 people sitting around the senior staff table. But they can't say that about everybody on the campaign, and that can come back to haunt you.
The White House burglary, everybody would assume was, I mean, the burglary into the Watergate seems very stupid now.
Now you've opened up that can of worms. I would just like to say this reminds me of the situation in college. My brother wrote all those checks to Domino's. I knew money in there.